For most people, boat watching on the Great Lakes is the cure to all depression. No? I already did that? Okay, I'll try something else then. Great Lakes Fleet is a Duluth-based shipping company that started 115 years ago. Yes, I googled that. Are you gonna judge me? No. And as of this day, 2022, they are not owned by anybody. Canadian National, their former owners, put it up for sale. And while these ships are up for sale, they are currently being operated by a company called Keelix Incorporated. Once again, this is as the upload date of this video. When you're watching this, the fleet could be owned by something completely new, and they could be renamed something else. But we're going to stay in 2022, because 2022, we're going to move on now. Great Lakes Fleet has 9 ships in the fleet. This includes 3 AAA class, 3 1,000 footers, 1 tug barge combo, which includes one of the 3 1,000 footers, and a river class vessel. Now, we're focusing mainly on the 3 AAA class. There is the Case and J. Callaway, the Philip R. Clark, and the Arthur M. Anderson. The Philip R. Clark was built first in 1952, followed by the Arthur M. Anderson. But there's still one more AAA class ship that I feel like gets absolutely no attention whenever we talk about Great Lakes ships. And that one AAA class ship, that's the Case and J. Callaway. The Case and J. Callaway was the last of the 3 AAA class ships built for the U.S. Steel Corporation. And while she may seem identical to her 2 sister ships, she's actually a little different. First of all, the Case and J. Callaway was built by the Great Lakes Engineering Works, while the Philip R. Clark and Arthur M. Anderson were built by the American Shipbuilding Company. Another hard to notice fact is that she actually has a larger pilot house than the Philip R. Clark and Arthur M. Anderson. This was to supposedly help with navigating, but it literally didn't really improve anything. Other than that, the ship was basically the same, being powered by a steam turbine engine and being expanded at some point in her life use. She was also chartered to their Pittsburgh Steamship Company division, and then when the division kind of phased out, she was put into the U.S. Steel Corporation. Obviously. When 2020 came, due to COVID and lack of demand, Great Lakes Fleet couldn't operate all their ships, so they put some of them up into long-term layup. These ships were the Case and J. Callaway and the Philip R. Clark. However, at this time, I was completely unaware of this, and when I went to search them up on marine traffic, I noticed that they were out of range, so I decided to go on YouTube and search up the most recent video, and the most recent video was from a year ago. This concerned me, and I was worried that they were getting sold for scrap, so I decided to comment on a video to see if anyone would reply to it. Not surprising enough that the person who replied said they were both in long-term layup, the Case and J. Callaway being in Sturgeon Bay and the Philip R. Clark being in Toledo. Fast forward to 2022, I bought myself a copy of the 2022 Know Your Ships novel. Now, when I opened it, it said that the fate of the 3 ships, the third one being the Roger Blau, who is currently in layup after suffering a fire, their fate would be decided once Great Lakes Fleet was purchased. And I actually thought this was true until just a few months ago, or just a month ago, the Philip R. Clark came out of long-term layup, and I was so excited. Yeah, excitement. But the Case and J. Callaway remained in long-term layup. Now, I thought this was because the fleet still wasn't back up, and they just wanted to get the Philip R. Clark out so that way it wouldn't rust to death like the Edward L. Ryerson or John Sherwin. Now, the Philip R. Clark, the thing about the Philip R. Clark is that she's the same to the Arthur M. Anderson, so getting replacement parts would actually pretty much be the same. But the Case and J. Callaway is a little different, being built by a different company and having a larger pilot house. She'll probably need different parts. Now, because of her staying in long-term layup, this led me to the question, what is going to happen to her? Now, I'm not just going to jump to conclusion and just say she's going to get sold for scrap. I'm not that kind of boat watcher. I want to stay positive. I want to look less towards the negatives and look more towards the positives. Something I think might happen to her, she's just going to stay up in layup for a little while longer. Reason being, we're not fully out of COVID, and demand still isn't as high as it was before. Once demand is super high, they'll bring the Case and J. Callaway out of layup and repair the Roger Blau, so that way they can both come back out. The Case and J. Callaway would definitely be the first to come out of layup. Something else that I could possibly going to happen is that something I really don't want to happen to her, similar to the Edward L. Ryerson and John Sherman, she goes into very long-term layup. like not being used for 10 or 13 years or like 60 years. The Case&J Callaway, in my opinion, is a ship that doesn't deserve something like this. To be honest, the Edward L. Ryerson and John Sherwin don't deserve to be like this, but if you guys want to see a separate video on those two, I'll definitely make one. The Case&J Callaway is still in pretty good condition, only being laid up a few years ago, so restoring her and bringing her back is something totally doable. I don't think they'll need to do the necessary paint job like they did with the Philip R. Clark, but still. The Case&J Callaway, even though it is a little different than the John Sherwin and the Edward L. Ryerson while she has a self-unloading boom, it is very doable to bring her back out. Once demand gets back up, I think bringing the Callaway out will be a requirement for Great Lakes Fleet. And the new owner, I don't think the new owner will want to have to scrap her because they don't want to lose the profit. Now obviously I'm not gonna throw scrapping out the window. It is a possibility, but we all thought that's what was gonna happen to the Philip R. Clark when she was put in a long-term layup. That's what we thought was gonna happen to the Arthur M. Anderson when she was put in a long-term layup, and that didn't happen. Who knows, the Case&J Callaway could be coming out next year. She could be coming out at the beginning of next season. Who knows how long it is until she comes back out. They can't leave them in layup forever. They're either going to come back out or sadly go to the scrapyard. The Edward L. Ryerson might come out in a few years. We never know what could happen unless we obviously know for the work for the shipping company. But still, the Case&J Callaway, it still has some life. Callaway. Laugh at me. I dare you. The Case&J Callaway, it's not a loss. Just because it's in layup doesn't mean it's gone. We need to look to the positive side. The Callaway could be coming back. In fact, I'm going to be very positive. The Callaway is coming back. Who knows when it could be? It could be next year. It could be in about 4 years. It could be in a while. But if they brought the Philip R. Clark out, they could most certainly be bringing out the Case&J Callaway. But some people are saying, oh, just because they have the Honorable James L. Oberstar doesn't mean that John Sherwin's coming back. But yeah, the Honorable James L. Oberstar is a self-unloader that John Sherwin isn't. And I'm not going to try and go too off topic with the Edward L. Ryerson and John Sherwin. If they came back into service, it's possible that they would be converted to a self-unloader, but still, as long as they're back out. But maybe the Case&J Callaway is just getting refitted. Maybe it's not in long-term layup. Maybe they have plans for it. Maybe it's going to get a new paint job. Maybe it's going to get new controls or an upgraded engine or something. Now, if she did get an upgraded engine, this would be the only ship in the fleet not to be powered by a steam turbine engine, at least a AAA class. All I'm saying is that the Case&J Callaway has life. Don't call her a goner. She is still gonna sail. She's gonna be back. Now, like I said before, we don't know how long, but stay to the positives and keep yourself updated. I'm always gonna keep myself updated, and I'll always keep you notified with notifications and what's going to go on to these ships. Moral of the story, the Case&J Callaway is not deemed a loss, and ships don't stay in layup forever. The Case&J Callaway can return, and I hope, at least I hope, but I know you guys probably hope she does too. For the future, if you guys want me to make any more Great Lakes fishing videos, don't be scared to put them in the comments. I will totally take those into consideration, and I just love seeing your comments. And I got a new microphone. How does it sound? Let me know. But yeah, I didn't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to make this clear that the Callaway is not gone. She's still around, and that always have hope. Always have hope that everything's going to turn out good in the end. Even though Grand River Navigation didn't want to keep their ships, this is the Great Lakes Fleet. They're really good about preserving ships from the past. They put ships in long-term layup. They put the famous Arthur M. Anderson in long-term layup for 2 years, and she came out. They put the Clark in layup for 2 years, and she came out. The Callaway could be next. But anyways, yeah, if you do have any suggestions for Great Lakes discussions, put it in the comments. I would love to talk about it. And this is Railroad More Studios signing out at the 10-minute mark.